Steffi Graf shocks fans. Eala's $1.65 million Christmas secret revealed. Emotional tennis tribute. What happens when a 20-year-old tennis sensation achieves the impossible, banks over $1.5 million in a single breakout season, and then does something so unexpected on Christmas Eve that even the greatest legends of sport stop dead in their tracks? The answer is unfolding right now. And honestly, you are not going to believe what just went down. This is the kind of story that movies are made of. The kind that reminds you why sports matter far beyond the scoreboards and the ranking points. So, buckle up, because what I am about to tell you involves secret promises, a $1.65 million shock, and a legendary endorsement from Steffi Graf that has the entire tennis community absolutely losing their minds. We are talking about a Christmas miracle that has shifted the axis of the tennis world. While most athletes are posting photos of luxury cars and island getaways, Eala just delivered a masterclass in gratitude that has left fans in tears. But that is only half the story. Because just hours after this heartwarming revelation, Steffi Graf, the 22-time Grand Slam champion who famously stays out of the spotlight, dropped a bombshell announcement that changes the trajectory of women's tennis forever. We're looking at a 5-year mentorship, the brightest diamond designation, and a seismic shift in expectations for the 2026 season. If you thought you knew what was coming next for the WTA Tour, think again. This is the story of the Christmas shock of 2025. Let's dive straight into the madness of December 24th, 2025. While most of the world is wrapping presents, sipping hot chocolate, and arguing with relatives about who makes the best stuffing, the tennis world just got hit with not one, but two seismic announcements that have absolutely nothing to do with tinsel or turkey. At the center of this whirlwind is a young woman who's been quietly building toward greatness while carrying a secret that would make even the coldest cynic reach for tissues. Her name is Eala. And if you haven't been paying attention, you are about to find out why everyone from Manila to Munich is talking about her today. To truly understand the gravity of this moment, let me paint you a picture of the modern professional athlete. We are living in an age of excess, of flash, of Instagram stories showing off the latest Lamborghini with a giant red bow on it for Christmas. Every other week, there is another headline about a 20-something sports star buying their third mansion or their second private jet. The culture has become about the flex, about showing the world how much you have made it. And look, there is nothing inherently wrong with enjoying success. These athletes work incredibly hard, but it has become so predictable that we have almost become numb to it. When you see another photo of diamond-encrusted watches or garage tours featuring cars that cost more than most people's lifetime earnings, you scroll past without a second thought. It is just noise. That is exactly what makes this story so different. That is what makes it cut through all that noise like a clean forehand winner down the line. Because Eala, the pride of the Philippines, the newly crowned Southeast Asian Games gold medalist, and the breakout star of the 2025 WTA season, did something that nobody saw coming. She took $1,650,000 of her hard-earned prize money from this year and made a purchase. Not a Ferrari, not a penthouse in some glitzy city like Monaco or Dubai, not a vacation home in the Maldives. She bought a house, a beautiful, substantial property worth exactly $1.65 million. But here is the kicker that has everyone emotional today. It wasn't for her. It was for her parents. Let that marinate for a second. A 20-year-old at the absolute peak of her earning potential, fresh off the best year of her career, takes the biggest chunk of liquid capital she has ever made and turns it into a gift for the people who raised her. There was no press release. There was no sponsored Instagram post with a caption about blessed or family first just to get likes. It was just a quiet transaction, a set of keys, and apparently, according to sources extremely close to the family, a lot of happy tears on Christmas Eve morning. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment decision, either. People close to the Eala family are saying this was a promise Alex made herself years ago, back when she was grinding through junior tournaments, sleeping in budget hotels, and dreaming of the big time. She told herself that when she made it, really made it, the first thing she would do is take care of the people who sacrificed everything to get her there. And today, on Christmas Eve 2025, She kept that promise. To understand the magnitude of this gesture, you have to understand the journey. Her parents, Mike and Riza, didn't just support their daughter's tennis dreams. They effectively bet everything on them. We are talking about years of international travel, coaching fees, tournament entries, equipment, nutritionists, physiotherapists, and all the invisible costs that come with trying to make it in one of the most expensive sports on the planet. Tennis isn't like football or basketball, where you can get scouted from a local league, and the team pays for your development. It is a lonely global grind that requires constant travel and constant investment, often with absolutely no guarantee of return. The Eala family mortgaged their comfort for their daughter's potential. They did it without complaint, without hesitation, because they believed in her. S.O. when Alex walked into their lives this Christmas with the deed to a house worth over $1.5 million. It wasn't just a gift. It was a receipt. It was tangible proof that their faith wasn't misplaced, that their sacrifices weren't in vain. It was a signal that every early morning drive to practice, every missed family vacation, and every anxious moment watching from the stands was worth it. It is a beautiful act of filial devotion that warms the heart and reminds us of the good in humanity. Now, if you think that is where the story ends, you haven't been paying attention to the absolute chaos unfolding in real time. Because while the story of the house is spreading like wildfire through tennis circles and social media, another bombshell dropped just hours later that has taken this narrative from heartwarming to absolutely historic. And this one involves a name that makes every tennis fan, regardless of generation, sit up straight. Steffi Graf has entered the chat, and she didn't come to play. Steffi Graf, 22 Grand Slam titles, former world number one, the woman who won the Golden Slam in 1988, capturing all 4 majors and Olympic gold in the same year, a feat that has never been repeated in women's tennis. Steffi Graf, who has largely stayed out of the spotlight since retiring, living a quiet life in Las Vegas with her husband Andre Agassi and their family. Steffi Graf, who does not do hyperbole, who does not throw around compliments lightly, and who is famously selective about who she associates with in the tennis world. That Steffi Graf just issued a statement about Alexandra Eala that is sending shockwaves through every corner of the sport. She called Alex the brightest diamond of the next generation. Read that again in your mind. Not a bright talent, not one to watch. The brightest diamond, the superlative, the definitive article. When Steffi Graf speaks, people listen. And when Steffi Graf singles out one player from an entire generation of rising stars, a generation teeming with talent, you better believe that statement carries weight that could crush coal into actual diamonds. But it gets bigger. And this is where tennis fans need to brace themselves for the 2026 season. This isn't just a compliment. This isn't just Steffi being nice to a young player during the holidays. Reports are emerging and have been confirmed that Graf has committed to a 5-year mentorship role with Alexandra Eala. 5 years. Not a one-off training session. Not a photo op at a charity event. A genuine, long-term strategic partnership between one of the greatest players to ever hold a racket and the girl from the Philippines who just bought her parents a house. Let's be clear about what this means contextually. Steffi Graf does not do this. She has had countless opportunities over the years to coach, to mentor, to attach her name to rising players, and she has consistently declined. She has watched from a distance, offered occasional commentary, but never fully committed to guiding someone's career in the trenches. The fact that she is doing it now, and doing it for Alex, is a neon sign flashing to the entire tennis world. Pay attention, because something special is happening here. We have seen this dynamic before. When Boris Becker worked with Novak Djokovic, we saw an immediate elevation in Novak's game and mental approach. When Ivan Lendl joined Andy Murray's team, Murray finally broke through the psychological barrier to win Grand Slams. The blueprint exists for what happens when legends mentor champions, and the results are transformative. But Steffi Graf is in a category of her own. She is not just a great player. She is an icon who defined an era of dominance. For her to descend from her quiet retirement and point at a 20-year-old and say, she's the one, that is not just validation. That is a coronation. The timing of this Christmas double, as it is already being called, could not be more cinematic. We are literally days removed from one of the most significant moments in Philippine tennis history. The 33rd Southeast Asian Games just wrapped up in Thailand, and if you weren't watching, you missed something special. On the hard courts of the National Tennis Development Center in Nonthaburi, Alexandra Eala did what no Filipino woman had done in 26 years. She won gold in women's singles. The last time the Philippines stood on top of that podium was 1999, when Mari Chris Fernandez took gold. For over a quarter of a century, the country waited. There were close calls, silver medals that felt like losses, bronze medals that were bittersweet. There were generations of talented players who came close but couldn't quite break through. And then came Alex Eala, carrying the hopes of a nation, playing in front of a hostile crowd in Thailand. And she didn't just win, she dominated. The final against Thailand's Maninkaya Sawanki was supposed to be competitive. Sawanki had the home crowd. She had momentum. She had nothing to lose. What she didn't have was an answer for the onslaught that Alex brought. 6-1, 6-2. The scoreline looks comfortable on paper, but it doesn't capture the totality of performance. Alex moved around that court like she owned it, dictating play from the first point, never giving her opponent a chance to settle. Playing in front of a partisan crowd is one of the hardest things to do in sports. The noise, the energy, it is all directed against you. They try to break your concentration. They try to make you feel small. Alex Eala didn't just withstand it. She turned the crowd into admirers. By the end of the match, even the Thai fans were applauding her shot-making. That is dominance. That is when you transcend rivalry and force people to acknowledge greatness. And perhaps that is exactly what caught Steffi Graf's attention. Winning a gold medal at a regional event is nice, but Graf has seen plenty of players win regional titles who never translate that success to the global stage. What she likely saw in that final, and throughout Alex's entire 2025 season, was something deeper. She saw character. She saw composure under pressure. She saw a player who has the technical skills, sure, but more importantly, has the mental fortitude to thrive when the stakes are highest. And then, when Graf learned about the house, about the quiet promise kept to parents who sacrificed everything, she saw something even rarer. She saw grounding. She saw maturity. She saw a player who understands that tennis is important, but it isn't everything. That kind of perspective is what separates the champions from the shooting stars who burn out after a few seasons. Let's talk about that 2025 season for a moment, because the prize money that funded this house didn't appear out of thin air. Alex Eala earned every single cent of that $1.65 million, and she earned it the hard way. This was the year she broke through on the WTA Tour in a manner that had analysts scrambling to update their projections. Her run to the semifinals of the Miami Open earlier this year was the stuff of legend. Miami is widely considered the fifth Grand Slam, one of the biggest tournaments outside the majors, with a draw full of top players and pressure that can crush even experienced pros. Alex navigated through it, taking down higher-ranked opponents, playing with a fearlessness that belied her age. She captured her first WTA 125 title, proving she could win at the professional level. She racked up victories against players who had been on tour for years, players who were supposed to have too much experience for a rising star to handle. But Alex didn't get the memo about what she was supposed to be able to do, so she just went out and did it anyway. And unlike many young players who get their first taste of significant prize money and immediately start living like rock stars, Alex apparently had a different plan. She was stacking that money, tournament by tournament, with a singular purpose in mind. While her peers were upgrading their lifestyles, she was upgrading her parents' future. That takes discipline. That takes vision. That takes a level of maturity that most people don't develop until their 30s, if ever. And it is that same discipline and vision that makes her such a terrifying prospect for the rest of the WTA Tour. Because if she can defer gratification like that in her personal life, if she can stay focused on long-term goals while everyone around her is chasing short-term highs, then what is going to stop her when she sets her sights on a Grand Slam title? The brightest diamond comment from Steffi Graf is going to follow Alex Eala for the rest of her career, and that is both a blessing and a burden. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and there is about to be an enormous amount of pressure on this young woman. The expectations have just gone from promising prospect to future Grand Slam champion. Every match she plays in 2026 is going to be scrutinized. Every loss will be analyzed for signs of weakness. Every victory will be measured against the Graf standard. The media is going to be relentless. The camera will always be searching for Steffi in the player's box. The comparisons will be endless. And through all of that, Alex is going to have to go out and play tennis, which is hard enough without carrying the weight of legend co-signed expectations. The Southeast Asian Games gold also cannot be understated in terms of what it means for tennis in a region. For decades, tennis has been dominated by players from Europe, North America, and increasingly Australia. Asia has produced champions like Li Na from China and Naomi Osaka representing Japan, but the Philippines has been waiting for its global tennis icon. Alex Eala is positioning herself to be that icon. She is not just representing herself anymore. She is carrying the dreams of an entire nation. Every time she steps on court at a Grand Slam, millions of Filipinos are going to be watching, believing that they can see themselves in her success. The brightest diamond endorsement from Graf is going to be plastered on billboards in Manila. It's going to be on Nike ads and in tourism campaigns. It's the kind of marketing gold that transcends sports, but it only works because it is authentic. Steffi Graf doesn't lend her name to things that don't deserve it. So when she says Alex is the brightest diamond, people believe it. We are heading into the 2026 season, and the narrative has completely shifted. The Australian Open is just around the corner, and you can bet that every journalist with credential is going to be looking for the Alex Eala story. They are going to want to know about the house, about Graf, about the gold medal, about the pressure. And Alex is going to have to navigate all of that while actually trying to win tennis matches. The first round of a Grand Slam is always tricky. You are rusty, you are nervous, and your opponent has nothing to lose. If Alex can get through the early rounds and build momentum, we could be looking at a deep run that validates everything Graf sees in her. But if she stumbles early, the doubters will be quick to pounce, suggesting that maybe the hype was premature, that maybe buying houses and collecting mentorships doesn't translate to Grand Slam success. I don't buy that narrative for a second. Alex Eala has shown us over and over that she rises to the occasion. The bigger the moment, the better she plays. That is not something you can teach. That is wired into a competitor's DNA. She had the entire weight of Philippine tennis history on her shoulders at the SEA Games, and she responded by dismantling her opponent in straight sets. She has been the underdog in matches throughout 2025, and she has consistently found ways to win. Now, she is the greatest women's player of the Open era in her corner, offering technical advice, strategic guidance, and probably most importantly, mental coaching on how to handle the pressure that comes with being the one. If anyone knows about handling pressure and expectations, it is Steffi Graf, who dealt with it for years while dominating the sport. The 5-year commitment from Graf is also crucial. This isn't a short-term project. This is a long-term investment in Alex's development, which suggests that Graf sees a timeline for Grand Slam success and wants to be there for the whole journey. 5 years takes us to 2030, when Alex will be 25 years old, right in the prime age range for women's tennis. If Graf's plan works, we could be looking at multiple Grand Slam titles, possibly a world #1 ranking, and a player who defines an era. That is not hyperbole. That is a track that Graf is setting her on. And if it happens, if Alex Eala becomes a champion that Graf believes she can be, this Christmas Eve 2025 is going to be remembered as the moment everything changed. The house purchase is also a signal to the rest of the tour that Alex Eala is different. In a sport where so many players get caught up in a lifestyle, where the trappings of success can become distractions, Alex has shown that her priorities are in order. She takes care of her family first. She honors the people who got her here. That kind of character doesn't go unnoticed in the locker room. Other players see that, and they respect it. Respect in the locker room might not seem important, but it matters. It affects how officials treat you, how lines people call close balls, how the crowd responds to you. When you are known as a good person who does the right thing, people root for you. And in tight matches, having those intangibles on your side can make the difference. The emotional weight of the story is also something we need to acknowledge. In a year that has been full of challenges for everyone, full of uncertainty and difficulty, we get the story on Christmas Eve about a young woman who made a promise to herself and kept it. We get a story about sacrifice being rewarded, about hard work paying off, about legends recognizing excellence. It is the kind of story that reminds us why we care about sports in the first place. It is not just about the score. It is about the journey, the character, the humanity behind the competition. Alex Eala has given us all a gift by showing us that success doesn't have to corrupt, that you can make it to the top without losing sight of where you came from. So, as we sit here on Christmas Eve, watching the story unfold in real time, we are witnessing the birth of a superstar. The pieces are all in place. The talent is undeniable. The mentorship is secured. The family is taken care of. The motivation is pure. And the entire tennis world is watching. 2026 is going to be the year of Eala, and we are all going to be here for it. Every match, every press conference, every moment is going to be analyzed and celebrated because we know we are watching something special. This isn't potential anymore. This is actualization. The breakout is broken through. I want to hear from you in the comments. What is your reaction to Steffi Graf calling Alex the brightest diamond? Is that the kind of endorsement that propels a player to greatness? Or does it create too much pressure? And what about that house purchase? Would you do the same for your parents if you were in Alex's position? Let's get a conversation going because this community is built on passionate tennis fans who have opinions, and I want to hear all of them. If this story gave you chills, if it made you believe in the good that sports can bring to the world, then do me a favor and smash that like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow and helps us bring you more incredible stories like this one. And if you haven't already subscribed to Champions Tennis, what are you waiting for? We just hit 1,000 subscribers, a huge milestone for us, and we are going for 5,000 next. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single moment of what is shaping up to be the most exciting era in tennis. The game is evolving, the stars are rising, and you want to be here for all of it. Merry Christmas to everyone celebrating today. Hug your family. Appreciate the people who got you where you are. And keep your eyes on the court because history is being written. Alexander Eala has shown us what is possible when talent meets character, when hard work meets opportunity, when promises made are promises kept. The brightest diamond is shining, and the whole world is about to see just how brilliant she can be. See you in the next video. And thank you for being part of this journey with us. This is Champions Tennis, and we are just getting started.